Alrighty then. It's raining today. Who'd have thought? Living in a rainforest, it's raining. So, this is another in the series. I have to put stuff in boxes in preparation for the container saga. For those who are new to our channel, we are a couple, Steve and Alison, and we are selling up our property here in Canada, and we are moving to France, and we are buying a chateau in France, and we are renovating that chateau. And one of the things I'm tasked to do is to just put everything in boxes. I've mentioned in previous videos, I hate packing. But what packing, now you see, what packing does, it's very cathartic. It allows you to reflect. And I do a lot of reflecting. I'm a reflector. And I also make up words. Okay. So in this exciting episode, I'm going to discuss something which is very, very close to my heart, being as I'm a cabinet maker. Let's head off down to the workshop, and I'll expand. So, as I've said, I'm a cabinet maker. I've been a cabinet maker for a few years now. Am I a good cabinet maker? I don't know. I can join two pieces of wood together 100 different ways. And I guess, well, I've made all the mistakes, haven't I? I've made the mistakes. So, which is part of the problem. As long as you don't make the same mistake twice. And I've been very fortunate because people seem to like what I do. People seem to ask me to come back and do more work for them. Which is, I suppose, the essence of this video. Because not long ago, my wife and I, Mrs. M, as I will refer to Mrs. M frequently, we decided that I was not going to work for anybody else anymore. And I was going to concentrate on doing my own work on our own house. And there's a very, very valid reason for that. You see, there are an awful lot of videos out there on in YouTube land which tell customers and clients how to manage their tradespeople, how to manage their electricians and plumbers and woodworkers. But there are few videos out there on how the tradespeople should manage their customers. In particular, I think, how customers should treat their tradespeople, their tradesmen and women, if they want them to come back again. It's very slanted, I find. Very slanted. What to do if you get a bad worker? Plethora. There's 100,000 different videos there, but no videos from the contractor's side of the side of the coin. And I'm going to put that right. Some balance is required, I think. See, I'm not under any illusion there is a shortage, and there is good tradespeople, let's be honest, good ones, are hard to come by. No, nobody's getting into that industry anymore. The youth of today don't want to be apprentices. They don't want an apprenticeship. And let's be honest, why would they? I remember my apprenticeship. I conducted my apprenticeship years ago now. My grandfather was a woodworker, a cabinet maker, and I was apprenticed to him for a short while. It was awful. The man was a giant. He was a legend, but it was awful. I hated the job. It was cold, dusty. The wages were crap. So of course, I understand why the youth of today, they don't want that. They don't want that. They want to be internet sensations. Me too, I guess, but and why not? Let's be honest, why not? So the bottom line, good tradesmen and women are hard to find. And let's just suppose that you do find that 1 in a million contractor that you want to hold on to. That contract's done, it's complete, the project's finished, you're happy, you've paid them. And sometime down the line, you want them to come back. And they don't want to come back. They don't want to come back to you. Stop to consider why that might be. You've begged and you've pleaded, well, not necessarily begged and pleaded, but you've asked a dozen times if they could come back and talk about another project that's on the cards. And no, it's not going to happen. You never stop to wonder why that is. I'm going to explain now. You're going to hear it from my side. You're going to hear this from the contractor's side. And you might not like it. So, listen up. Let's cut to the chase, shall we? Let's get to the nub. I like the nub. There are a number of different reasons why a contractor will not want to do business with you again. Some you might not like. Some might be obvious, but some you might not like. I'm going to go through these reasons now. Some of them are obvious, really. Some of them not so much, and may actually surprise you. I'm also going to show you later on in the video a number of things that I've made. I suppose as a demonstration, to show off really, but I suppose as a demonstration that I kind of might know what I'm talking about. Show you some pictures. And I'm going to be very, very clear. The consequences for treating your tradesperson not well, they are dire. Those consequences are dire. And I'm going to show you at the end of this video the consequence for not getting your cabinet maker on side. Listen, don't judge. I was young. It's actually not that long ago, to be honest, but I was young. And if that customer is, for some reason, how that customer would ever find me, I have no idea. But if that customer is watching this, all I can say is, I'm sorry. Okay, so things not to do in order to get your tradesman on side. Okay, it's a new slant on things, isn't it? And I suppose the very first, and this in some respects is probably quite obvious, really. If you make an appointment for your tradesperson to turn up to assess the job, be there. None of this, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. None of this, oh, could we rearrange? I've got caught up at work. No, be there. My time, contrary to popular belief, is as valuable as yours, so don't waste it. If you make an appointment, be there. You see, it also applies to installation day. You just assume your contractor has spent a lot of money now, maybe hiring a van, maybe employing some more trades to help. Everything is planned for this particular day. Don't not turn up. Don't phone. Can we do it tomorrow? I've had to go to the doctor's. My dog needs to go to the vet. 101 different excuses I've come up against when I've spent all that money and all that time and all that planning to come and do your job, and you can't even be bothered to turn up. It's a big deal. The contractor might say, for the sake of the contract, don't worry about it. Inside, he's fuming. She's fuming. It's no, don't do it. Please, don't do it. They will remember forever. I personally, I have a memory like an elephant. I never forget. Here's a good one, which happens more than you think. Halfway through, don't change the design. Halfway through, when your contractor's away planning, building, designing, doing whatever, don't change it halfway through. I had a situation, this is a while ago now, where I'd budgeted, it was a bedroom suite, I think it was, and I'd budgeted for these handles. And I think, I don't know, this is in the UK, maybe £3 per knob. And I'd done all the usual, so I will show like a board. So I'll do a mock-up with the handle, with the cabinet, with the door, so you can get a good. I mean, I'd already bought the things, and the client came back and said, "Actually, we've changed our minds. Can we use these instead?" And these instead were something like 10 times the cost, and of course there was no contribution. I said no. Well, I think I actually went ahead with it, but I got them to pay. But nevertheless, it's a good job that they weren't, double-holed handles. You get some handles that require 2 holes, some handles that require 1. You drill that hole, there's no going back, is there? So please don't change it. Please don't change it halfway through. It's annoying, frustrating. There's a couple of issues which... I don't know, slightly annoying, and I suppose they've got all the best intentions from the customer's point of view, but leave the person alone. Let them get on with the job. Don't be, looking over the shoulder at everything that person does, that contractor does. I get it. You might, you're interested. You might want to learn something. You might for next time, who knows? But it's annoying. Your contractor doesn't want you there, all right? It might not be an obvious statement to make. And especially if you're not going to make them a cup of tea, which is another bugbear of mine. If your contractor turns up and he's working, make him a cup of tea. Make him a coffee. Go and buy him a sandwich. Give him a cookie. Whatever. Just be generous, I suppose. But don't be looking over the shoulder. We don't want it. And another in the same theme, which is, I don't know, it's even worse. If the contractor is going to do work on a kitchen, I don't know, empty the drawers. Is that an obvious thing? I would have thought so. The number of times I've made kitchens for people, turned up on the day to take the old kitchen out, and they haven't even bothered emptying it. All the crud and the detritus in the bottom of drawers, all the stuff in there that I've somehow or another I've got to move, and then it's my fault if it looks a mess in the corner of the kitchen. Empty it. Take all the pans out, take all the crockery out, move it out of the way. Let's have a clean slate. Let's have it nice and clean. Oh, One of the worst things you can do to really piss off your contractor is to be continually asking them, why are you doing it that way? Oh, I had to fit some baseboards for a client, and this is the client actually that I'll be referring to at the end of this video. Okay, so I had to fit some baseboards. Now, not all internal and external corners are 90 degrees, all right? And there is such a thing. I grew up doing it this way. I always grew up a coping joint on an internal corner. You may not necessarily know what that means, but trust me, it's the way that traditional trades have been doing it for years. And this man, who was some kind of social worker, I think, decided that I was doing it wrong. That I, in fact, should not do coping joints on internal corners, and I should do 45-degree miters, regardless of the fact that his walls may not have been at 90 degrees. You get the idea. All right, you're paying me to do a job. I will do that job my way. At the end of the contract, if everything's great, but don't be giving advice, okay? I also don't care about that coffee table that your granddad made 35 years ago. I don't care, okay? I'm being polite. I will say, oh, nice, yeah. I don't care. I don't want to know. I don't want to know about your granddad. I'm there to do a job. I'm not your friend. I'm there to do a job. Don't tell me about this piece of, you may be proud of it, you may like it. It's harsh, isn't it? But I don't care. One of the most annoying things, I think, as well, is for the contractor to be permanently bombarded every bloody day with, is it ready? When is it going to be done? When are you bringing it? When are we sorting this? Have you finished this? Have you finished that? No, just what? Really? There is a simple fact. This is a personal simple fact here, that if a contractor doesn't have the sword of Damocles hanging over his head, constantly badgering them to get the job done, they will do a much better job. I guarantee. Some of my best work I have ever done has been as a result of the customer not giving me any time constraints. Customers who realise that the best work they're going to get from me will be work where I'm not up against it time-wise, because I'm going to take the time to do it right. I made what I considered to be a very, very nice set of bookcases for a client in the UK. And the design was it was a strange design. It was, bearing in mind that infrared, your remotes for your TV and your DVD and all the rest of it don't work well through wooden drawer fronts. And this customer wanted all the gubbins, all the boxes, all the stuff inside drawer. So I designed it with glass fronts. And to get them right, these glasses, I mean, they were quite kind of special, really. They were kind of funky bearing sliders on these, and they were beautiful, but they took such a long time to get right. And whereas a drawer might ordinarily take me, I don't know, I might be able to do 2 drawers in a day, this was taking me, to make these drawers were taking me the best part of 2 days to make one. But I wasn't badgered. He didn't pressurize me. And the result was absolutely, I thought it was beautiful. And he was overwhelmed with it. And he's one of these customers that, it doesn't matter, it's in the UK and I'm in Canada now, so I can't help him anyway. And he recommended my work to all and sundry. But he never bothered me about time. And I was way over the estimate. I've got to be honest with you. I gave him a rough estimate of when it might be finished. I was way over that. But the result, the net result, was beautiful. Even if I do save so myself. You see, another addition to that is that I've made so many kitchens. I've made a lot of kitchens, and I like making kitchens. Don't get me wrong. I've made my own here, and it's to be fair, it's not as hard as what you might think. I think if you know your way around a screwdriver and a chisel, making kitchens is actually quite easy. The worst thing you can do is to book a dinner party before the bloody kitchen's installed. I can't believe I've had that. I hadn't even installed the kitchen. I don't think I'd made it. And the customer said, yeah, we've booked a dinner party, so it's got to be done by then. Arseholes. Another big deal. I am governed by the laws of physics, okay? I cannot make things that float. I will not attach things to walls that can't take the weight. This is probably one of the biggest issues. If you're happy, pay your bill. When I take on a contract, I'm very clear on this. I will ask for a 50% deposit up front and the balance upon completion. Not a week after completion, not following 4 or 5 visits round to your house to pick up a cheque that wasn't there, that you weren't in. I want that payment as I'm packing up my tools. Unless it's pre-agreed, unless it's part of a bigger contract where payment may well be deferred, I get that. But if we've sat down and we've agreed that you assess the job while I'm there, and if you like it, you must pay me. I'm not going to go to anybody cap in hand and beg for payment. We agreed, pay it. Pay your bills. Another, on a similar theme to that one, if you like what your worker's done, what your tradesman's done, if you like it, if you're happy with it, tell them. Are we not human? We're not machines. I take this stuff personally. I put a lot of effort into making something for you. Tell me if you like it, if you think it's good, if I've come up with the goods, if you are pleased with it, tell me. I made a dresser, a jewellery dresser, for the owners. At the time in the UK, it was the most expensive house in England. This Russian billionaire had bought it, and the designer working for him had contacted me as I was at a trade show, and she asked me to make this unit, this for all her watches. Nice. And I made it. It was kind of, it was very different, and I was very proud of it. And to this day, the madam or the owner and the owner of the house, they've never said whether they liked it or not. They paid, they gave me a cheque. The designer gave me the cheque when I delivered it. But they've never said whether they liked it or not. And it took a big chunk of my life making that. And it's disappointing, you know. It's disappointing if the customer really doesn't have the wherewithal just to say thank you. It's more than just a piece of furniture. This is something that I've taken time out to make and do, and I'm proud of it. At least say bloody thank you. I suppose the other side of the coin to that is if you don't like it, equally say so. If there are aspects of it that you're not sure about, if there are aspects of it that you don't like, tell me. I may be able to put them right. Don't leave it. What really takes my breath away sometimes is social media. You read of these things all the time on social media, on things like Facebook, where customers will disparage their worker on Facebook. They may never have actually said to them, look, you did this and I'm not happy, can you do something else? No, they're more happy just to try and, slander, defame the worker publicly on social media. Such a coward's way out. Okay, I said at the start of this video that I was going to show you what happens. This is from a personal standpoint, you understand. What happens if you piss off your cabinet maker? All right, your cabinet maker will always get the last word. And before I show you what I did. And if that customer is watching this, again, I'm sorry, but you are a pain in the ass. This guy was on my case constantly. He never let up. He was a real nuisance. And constantly, he was phoning me up at the end of when I'd gone home, asking if I'd done this right. Had I done that right? Why was I leaving it like that? I haven't finished. That's another thing that really gets my goat. When you phone up and say, I've just seen this, is that right? I haven't bloody finished. But this guy was on his wife was all right, and I think she was a bit embarrassed actually, but he never let up. Now, part of that contract, it was an office that I built for this guy. It was some kind of social worker. He certainly wanted an inspirational speaker, but it had an solid oak desktop, and it was character oak. So character oak comes with certain, little bits of character. Obviously, there's a knot here, and there'll be a heavier grain there. It's not all consistent, which I don't like anyway. I think it's dull. I think it's boring. But anyway, there was a knot at the far corner of the desk, which he didn't like. I'll say that again. There was a knot that he didn't like, and he wanted me to take it out. And no amount of trying to reason with him did any good. He did not like this knot. So I had to renew the desk. For the sake of the contract, looking back now, I may well have not done that. If the time had, if we'd gone through it all again, I might have said no. But I just, it was a big contract and I needed to get paid, so I bent over backwards to keep this guy happy. But I had the final word. And before I show you the picture, again, please don't judge. I'd had enough of this guy. But the cabinet maker always gets the last word. Can you see that? Anyway, we've established I'm bad, and that's about as much as I've got for you today. If you've my little channel's growing well, and we're getting a lot of new people, and I genuinely thank you for that. we're on a journey. We are fast approaching the time when we'll be getting everything in a container here and heading out to France. If I could ask if you wouldn't mind considering subscribing to the channel. It just helps our little channel grow. So thanks for that. I hope you enjoyed this ramble of mine, and maybe see you in the next one. Thank you.